everyone, my name is Tyler DeLuca. This is No Cap Space, and I have no idea who's going to win the ACC. It is wide open for a various amount of reasons, and today we're looking at the conference. We're previewing the conference with the help of my good friend Andrew and his preview of the conference that he's been doing for every conference here, the mid-majors, the Big East, the Big 12, and now the ACC that you can find on nocatspacewbb.com. We're going to go through his article today, give you a little bit of a look at what you could get when you're on our website, while also giving my own thoughts as we go through here. But this is a conference that, to me, I said it on my Big 12 video, and I will relay it here. I think that your Big 10, your SEC, you got some pretty clear hierarchy there between just a couple teams, right? To me, the ACC is a bit more open than that. I think there's four real true contenders in the Big 12. The ACC has several as well, and today we're going to get into it. And obviously, so many shifts across the board, and we're going to get into those teams. But just generally speaking here, obviously, Notre Dame has been a powerhouse in a lot of ways, but in recent years, it hasn't just been Notre Dame by any means. Obviously, Duke last year being able to kind of get over the hump in a lot of ways. You have NC State as well that was able to do that in recent years. I am so intrigued by this conference, so let's dive into it. Again, our good friend Andrew here with the preview. You can find the link down below in the description. You can go and look at all of the previews that we have done on nocatspacewbb.com. But let's start off here with Duke. As you can see, made it to the Elite Eight last year and kind of got over that hump in a lot of ways. But ultimately, there's still clear offensive deficiencies last year, right? And certainly they were so good defensively and slowing the game down that they were able to make their way to the Elite Eight to win the ACC tournament. That is the caliber of program that Carol Lawson has been building in Durham. But getting that offense is going to be pivotal here. And obviously you lose a major contributor here in Uche Okonowa, and who was really having a great season last year. And then obviously she transfers to Maryland. It's like, whoa, I personally wasn't expecting that. But now it is time for Toby Fournier to step up. She had the flashes last year. Frankly, I wanted to see more of her last year, but we didn't get the kind of full play in her freshman year, as we've seen with some of the freshmen, generally speaking, where you get the responsibility. That wasn't the case with Toby Fournier. This year, I want to see the responsibility on offense grow and how that can help contribute to Duke taking the next step and being a truly elite national championship contender. The defense is there. How do you make it happen on offense? I'm looking at Toby Fournier, but I'm very excited to see. And as Andrew mentions here, we're still waiting on the in-game dunk. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it this year. I want to see it. I want to see Fournier on the court with the ball in her hands. I'm excited for it. Moving on to NC State, who frankly had their season and projections completely change when Camille Pierre decided to enter the portal late in the cycle and go to a school that, as we talked about in our interview with her, you can find here on YouTube, and they'd been recruiting her for a long time. Obviously, it was pretty shocking to see her go into the portal. I heard some things prior, but just the timing of it and everything, I was shocked to see it. And now NC State goes from a relative rebuilding year, obviously, with Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers leaving to the WNBA. Now Camille Pierre comes in a conference that is not known for the play of their bigs. And with that, you now have one of the best bigs in the nation, one of the most productive bigs that was doing it in the SEC, probably the hardest conference for bigs to really put up real, genuine numbers in, just based on how good the other bigs are. And now she's going to the ACC, where I think that she might have the potential just to absolutely dominate. You add that on top of some of the players that were already there, Zoe Brooks, Trigger as well, 6'6", and just I'm so excited by what Camille Pierre unlocks with this NC State team and where that takes them, because again, she's one of the best bigs in the entire nation, and now you have her in the ACC. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, just completely change the outlook on where NC State can go this year. Now, North Carolina. I think the top three is pretty clear here in the ACC. And North Carolina's on the outside looking in on that for me. Just they lost a lot. I will say though, Arna Salo coming from UCLA, pretty shocking transfer as well. But going to North Carolina, This to me is a bit more of I not to say it's going to be like a bad year record-wise, but to me this is a bit more of a rebuilding year, knowing what's coming, what's on deck in the coming years with Kate Hart bringing in players like that from a recruiting standpoint. But Arnisalo is going to be one of the players I am so excited to watch in the ACC because we saw the flashes on a stacked UCLA team. Now you give her a little bit more freedom to just go and hoop. And I don't know exactly what route the development is going to take. All I do know is I'm going to be there to see it. But Notre Dame, I am so intrigued by this team. Obviously, no Sonia Citron, and Olivia Miles has transferred to TCU. And then there was one. And that one is if I had a team that was being looked down upon, if I had a team that the projections weren't high because of who we lost, I don't know if there's a player I'd rather have leading me more than Hannah Hidalgo. Across the board, it's in the name. Dog. You know who Hannah Hidalgo is. And I just don't see a chance here where Notre Dame is not competitive. I'm not saying they're going to win the ACC because, I mean, Duke and NC State especially have really good chances in order to do that. But I just don't see a world where Hannah Hidalgo isn't putting up massive numbers and isn't making Notre Dame at minimum competitive. What will the others do? How will others step up is going to be major here. If this is a down year for Notre Dame, the recruiting that they've been able to do has been fantastic. So I'm not in the Neil Ivy hot seat conversation the way that I would be if not for that recruiting. But ultimately, it's very fair to expect a lower result here from Notre Dame, but not if Hannah Hidalgo has anything to say about it. Like the cinema she's about to give us this year, I'm so incredibly excited for. Those are the teams you know already. Let's look at some teams that you need to watch here. Cal. I mean, look, the rebuild has started to come. You make the NCAA tournament. They lose, as Andrew mentions here. Losing Suarez is a big deal. But you're able to bring in a couple from the SEC. You're able just to continue building, make it to the tournament again, and you're going to be feeling good about where Cal stands as a team to watch and continue to grow in the ACC. Look, Clemson. I like some of the things I saw from Clemson last year. It wasn't the prettiest record, 14-17, but their recruiting class they got coming in, goodness gracious, Clemson's cooking. Might not be this year, but you need to get eyes on Clemson because, again, probably not this year, but in years to come, they're going to be around. Like I believe in what is being built at Clemson, and I am very excited to see what groundwork continues to be laid this year because, I mean, I'm excited. And the recruiting is matching that excitement. So like there's a lot to like with what Clemson is doing, as Andrew says here. Let's continue on. Louisville. This was such an intriguing team to me last year because it was so young. Like the amount of responsibility that was given to the young players on this team was a lot. And eventually, as Andrew notes here, kind of ran out of gas. And it felt like Jeff Wallace was going to do it again, that he was going to create another masterclass. I simply will never count Louisville out with Jeff Wallace. He has proven time and time again that he can do more with less. And now you have a team that has more experience, a year under their belt. What is that going to look like? I don't know exactly, but I'm excited to see it because I trust what Louisville does as a program. And they overachieved last year, I think, in a lot of ways. And again, ran out of gas towards the end, wasn't able to kind of get into that upper echelon of ACC contention in that way, or really kind of like making you feel like they're going to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. But I simply will never count out Louisville by any means as to what they can potentially do over the course of a season in one game as an upset. I'm never counting them out. I'm simply not going to. Stanford. Obviously, the standard at Stanford is so incredibly high. And to see the NCAA tournament streak go was not ideal in year one in the ACC. I still, and I'm uncomfortable with them being in the ACC still. It feels weird. But they have some recruits coming in that I have some eye emojis on, several of them. So don't sleep on Stanford again. I'm not saying we're getting back to, Stanford. But I think if we see Stanford back in the NCAA tournament, that it would not be a surprise to me with the talent that they have been able to bring in through recruiting. I'm very excited to see that. I want Stanford to be back. It's a staple in women's basketball to have Stanford be a very legitimate competitive team, and having them in the ACC near the top would be very, very fun. I don't know if it's this year, but I'm excited to see how it continues to build, obviously, as we move past the Vanderveer era. SMU is one of the most exciting stories in the entire country. They were bad last year. They were bad. Adia Barnes, who admittedly obviously had the massive, massive run to NCAA championship game with her alma mater, Arizona. Amy McDonald helped lead the way there. It has been a little bit downhill since then at Arizona, and she decides to make the move to SMU, where it sure seems like the investment is there. I'll put it like that. And she has brought in a couple of interesting transfers, has been able to start making waves in recruiting. Again, this to me, obviously year one, it's hard to always kind of pinpoint expectations in year one of a coach's stay at a new school. So, I'm hesitant to expect one thing or another, but I will just leave it as it is one of the most interesting stories, because SMU, obviously right there in Dallas, right there in Texas. The ACC is in Texas, as weird as it sounds, but it is a recruiting hotbed. So if they're able to have even just a good season with the resources that they have and the pedigree that Adia Barnes does have, and I feel like she has that to a degree, I would be very, very interested in seeing how SMU builds off this year. What do they look like? What does this roster look like for the long term? There's a lot of questions I have about SMU. Frankly, I don't have a lot of answers to provide you right now, but a team I will certainly be watching, hoping, honestly, to get down to Dallas and go and watch in person. I'm very, very excited about them. Virginia, Coach Mox has been someone that I have absolutely loved the build of her program. Got a massive transfer in Samaya Smith from LSU, and I'm with it. Kamora Johnson is so good. I'm here. I'm still here. You had an influx of NIL money from Mr. Serena Williams. I'm here for it. I am a believer in what Virginia is building, and this is the year where I think it is very important with the transfers you got in and just generally speaking with Kamora Johnson, her timeline. This is the year I want to see a step up from Virginia, and I think it's very, very plausible to happen. A top 5 finish would be incredible here in the ACC, and something I would love to see. I've been such a big fan of what the build has been here at Virginia. I'm with it. I'm rooting for it. I have an agenda. I'm ready to push it. I want to see Virginia make the leap in the ACC standings this year. Last but not least here, Virginia Tech obviously made a Final Four just a short time ago. It has been, to say the least, a lot of change since then. Your coach leaves. Your star players leave for transfer or graduation. And Megan Duffy had them competitive last year, is how I would put it. Obviously, didn't make the NCAA tournament, but I felt like in a year of turmoil and transfers and movement, I thought it was a solid first year for Duffy there at Virginia Tech. So I'm just ready to see what that looks like again, right? And just building on that. What do you do from year one that changes in year two? How do you try and grow this? I fully believe that Virginia Tech can get back to being an ACC contender. It might take just a little bit of time, but I fully believe that it can happen. And I think that year one was, again, not world-beating by any means, but solid. And given what the situation was, I don't think you could be mad at that at all from Virginia Tech's perspective. Rest of the field here, you have a lot of teams. Just to kind of speak generally on some of these, so we don't make this video too long. A lot of teams here that lost really good players, right? Florida State, obviously losing Tanaya Latson is a very big deal. Georgia Tech lost several of their players with Nell leaving, right? There's a lot of transfer stuff here at the bottom, or programs that have just kind of been in and out of truly being able to kind of take that next step. And I fully do expect this to be the bottom of the ACC, because I think the middle here can get a little bit jumbled up. I think the top 3 can kind of go in a couple different orders. I'm intrigued by it, but ultimately this bottom here is what you're going to see when it comes to Boston College, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Miami, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. I'm not expecting much from these teams, just to be frank and to keep it pushing through this preview because we have 15 minutes. I'm not trying to keep you here forever. The players you need to know. I talked about these as we go through the teams. Hannah Hidalgo, what more is there to possibly say about one of the best players in the entire nation, arguably the most entertaining player in the entire nation? If you love basketball on the court, you love Hannah Hidalgo in her game. So I will be there no matter what. Same with Camille Pierre. Same with Ashlyn Jackson. I'm specifically Ashlyn Jackson. I'm very intrigued by, as Andrew notes here, the offensive development, how you can get the efficiency up. You're going to be asked to do a lot, along with Fournier. So how do you try and level up? I'm very interested in seeing that. And the 5 best players you need to know. Zoe Brooks, just a firecracker. Like, just so much energy, really leveled up last year. And I think with the departure of the guards going to the WNBA, you're going to see even more of a level up. And it only helps having those bigs down low, including transfer Camille Pierre. I'm very excited in what she does. I thought a little bit about Johnson here from Virginia. Just, again, energy all over, able to do it on both sides of the ball. Just a point guard I would love to have on my team through and through. I'm ready to see the jump in Virginia as a team. I'm ready to see her take the leap as an individual player as well. And I think those both things are very much tied together. I talked about Toby Fournier, Agara from Stanford, another one of those just big players that I think Stanford can make some noise. I really, really do. I'm intrigued. It's there. It just needs to be shaped together all for Stanford. And I'm excited by it. I'm excited what the recruits are going to bring in here with Agara as well. And last but not least, Ziegler going to Louisville. Andrew is the mid-major mastermind here. And this is a player in a Jeff Wall system that I think just absolutely fits. Keep the name in mind because I'm seeing the vision. I really am. And if Andrew's seeing the vision from a mid-major perspective, I'm rolling with Andrew every single time. The Cinderella story, Clemson. Last but not least here. I'm with it. Like this is Andrew's prediction here to be a Cinderella story, and I see the vision. There was a lot to like just stylistically from Clemson last year. Again, more talent this year, a whole lot more talent on the way in coming years with recruits. I see the vision. I want to see Clemson keep building. In terms of like programs that are like on the come up, I think Clemson has an argument to be the most exciting in the country right now. I genuinely believe that is the type of motion that they are creating right now, both stylistically on the court and in the recruiting. And I think that those two things are very, very tied together. I love this pick for a Cinderella story. Again, I think it'd be them or it'd be Virginia or the two teams. And I guess Stanford, it feels weird calling Stanford a Cinderella story, but like I guess compared to last year, and I guess, but like Clemson or Virginia, those are the two teams I'm looking for. Goodness gracious. That was a mouthful. Let me take a breath. Okay, that's about the last one I'm going to get. I have until Monday to inhale and exhale because once Monday hits, we are rolling. But until then, we have you covered with conference previews. We have both the Big 12, we had the mid-majors, we had the Big East. ACC just dropped today as we just went through our NoCatSpaceWB.com, and we'll have the Big 10 and the SEC en route. So make sure you're tapped in across the board. All the links you can find below in the description. Make sure you're subscribed here. Let me know, who do you think is the team to watch for in the ACC? Who do you think is going to win the ACC? Let me know down below, and make sure you're tapped in here because once Monday hits, the coverage is going to be rolling here from No Cat Space, and we hope you tapped in with us the entire way, all the way to Phoenix when we crown a national champion. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.